All of my content is also posted on 5colorcombo.com, a great website for all of your Magic the Gathering needs, including articles, podcasts, and custom Magic the Gathering tokens and playmats. As a subscriber to my channel, you can use the discount code NEEDSAHONE5 for a 5% discount in their store. You can find the link in the description below. Hello everyone, we are doing a Kaladesh draft for the weekly draft video here on my channel. And this is an interesting pack. We could take Dynavolt Tower and try to build around and make a blue-red spells kind of deck, well, any colored kind of deck. And I'm really tempted to do that. In fact, I may do it just because that seems like a lot of fun. It's probably better and safer to take Welding Sparks here, which is one of the best commons in the format. Pima Outrider, another very good card, as is Filigree Familiar. Those are probably the safer picks, but man, do I want to make an energy deck and go in all in on Dynavolt Tower. It just seems like that can be a lot of fun. If it ends up not working out, it ends up not working out. But it's also worth a few tickets right now because it's being played in Standard. So, yeah, that's what we'll take. Again, I do think Welding Sparks is the better, safer pick, but we're going to go for the crazier pick here and just take Dynavolt Tower here. Okay. Well... This pack doesn't have much for us. It's actually an incredibly weak pack in general. I wonder what my opponent got out of it. I hope it was at least something better than what we see here. Man. We do have a card that can help us get energy and can help us splash, and it's an instant or sorcery spell. Those are all things we should think about and care about. So I may just take that, because this pack is incredibly underpowered. There's not a single card in this pack I would feel good about first picking or even second picking on a usual day. Like the best card in this pack, I don't know, Servo Exhibition maybe? That's pretty, it's not a very good card. I mean, it's a fine card, you'll play it. I mean, there's lots of playables in here. You got Nimble Innovator, Ninth Bridge Patrol, Puzzle Knot sometimes, Servo Exhibition. Okay, you don't have a lot of playables. The maneuver's good too, but like I don't like Club Security or Renegade Tactics or Dromedary. Workshop Assistant's not great in most situations, although I guess it's okay with Dynavolt Tower. I think I'm going to take a tune and we're going to try to go all in here on an energy theme. Tidy Conclusion is quite good, and I think that's what I'll take here. You know, maybe harder for us to make it. Black isn't great at making energy, so we may end up having to abandon our Dynavolt Tower, unfortunately. But it is a strong card. I think it's just better than everything else in this pack. Gearshift Ace is solid. Ballista Charger's solid. High Spire Artisan, Aviary Mechanic. You know, most of the cards here, again, are fine, although I don't love playing Pressure Point or Renegade Tactics. And Vedalken Blade Master has been a bit of a disappointment. But I could just take another artifact, a solid one, and stay open here. But I think I'm going to take a removal spell. And it is an instant or sorcery, it's worth noting. Ooh, Fateful Showdown. Hello. That's interesting for this particular deck. There is a card that makes energy, but I don't love it. And I mean, I do actually in an aggro deck. It's quite good. It's also a self-assembler who, if you manage to assemble, you know, 2 of is good, and then 3 of is really good. But I think I'm going to take Fateful Showdown here. Seems like it could have some juice with Dynavolt Tower, if we can make that work. We have another Attune. We also have a Thriving Rats. Kind of leaning towards just taking Attune and seeing if we can just be like all the colors we want to be. Pick up all the green fixing there is. And I think that's what I'm going to do. There's not like a good removal spell here. Thriving Rats is fine, but not amazing. Built to Smash probably isn't going to be great in our deck, but we'll take an Attune. So if we can just take enough cards that let us splash, we can end up in a situation where we can just take all the best instants and sorceries, which is pretty nice. But then we have this pack. Paradoxical Outcome is an interesting card. I don't think it's what we want. Gearseeker Serpent's pretty strong to be around this late, and I could easily sort of transition into an artifact-heavy deck, a blue-green, maybe artifact-heavy deck. And blue-green makes energy well, too, so I'd probably still play the Tower. But yeah, I think it's the Serpent here. I mean, I like the Seed Sculptor. I mean, there's lots of cards in this pack better than some of what we saw early in other packs, like Fragmentize is good, Gearseeker Serpent's good. High Tide Hermit's good if you really end up in an energy deck, and we could. But I think I'm going to take the Serpent here and see what happens. And this is a late Glint Sleeve Artisan. And I kind of have a hard time saying no to it, but we haven't actually picked up a white card yet, so I probably should say no to it. Could pick up Select for Inspection or a Weld Fast Monitor. Yeah, I'll take Select. Okay, Reckless Fireweaver seems solidish, but there's also a late Chandra's Pyrohelix, and I think I'll just take that. I will say that doing a build around like this is not usually the best strategy, but it seemed like too much fun. I think I made that clear earlier that it's not the best strategy, but I just want to be clear about that. Okay, so there's a decent white card here pretty late, a decent black card here late, and we already have one black card, so and we have no white, surprisingly. So I think I'll take the black. And we may just end up having to abandon this altogether. You know, we kind of have... This first pack has been kind of a disaster because I've been trying so hard to play Dynavolt Tower, so chances are strong that we end up just giving up on it. Our best cards are Gear Seeker, Serpent, and Tidy Conclusion, probably. We do have 2 ways to fix, which is nice, given that we've picked up so many cards, but there are only green cards, so we would need to pick up more green cards to make it reasonable to be trying to do what we're trying to do here. I guess I'll take Renegade Tactics. Lost Legacy, just bad. Just bad. So I'll take Renegade Tactics. Another Renegade Tactics. Or I could take Live Fast, which makes energy, so I think I'll take it. If we end up in a control deck, like we could end up black-green, we could end up black-red, but we do have a few cards that make energy already, other than our Dynavolt Tower. Yeah, and I'll take another Select. Spark of Creativity is okay, but I think Select's just better. And I'll take a Hijack. Well, I guess Failed Inspection might be better out of the sideboard than Hijack. Some Club Security, which I don't love, but, you know, if we're low on playables, which is possible, given the way this first pack went, we could end up playing it. Would have loved to open like a rare bomb, instant or sorcery there, but we didn't. Aerial Responder and Aetherborn Marauder are both pretty strong cards. Decoction Module, you know, is interesting, because we don't have a ton of creatures at this point. So it does make energy, and that's nice, but I don't know if we want it because of that. We could take Aetherborn Marauder. We already have one card with a +1/+1 counter, and it's a good card. P-Fowl's solid, but I think it's probably just a Marauder. Aerial Responder is probably what I would pick out of this pack if it were like my first pack. Pack one, pick one. But we'll take the Marauder here. Captured by the Consulate. That is a strong one. What else we have here? Nothing great. Foundry Inspector's fine. Bomat Bazaar Barge is fine. Nothing, I mean, you know, this is a card that can help us produce energy, but it kind of looks like we're morphing into, like, black seems to be decently open. I'm not certain about our second color, but the black here is not great. We could take another Live Fast, but I don't like that. Cathartic Reunion, probably not bad in a deck like this one, if we're really trying to play Dynavolt Tower. Captured by the Consulate, again, a white card, so someone to our, where are we passing right now, left, is going to be pretty happy, because they've gotten back-to-back really good white cards. Fidalcan Blade Master is okay, but underwhelming on the whole. May just be Foundry Inspector. Right now we don't have artifacts other than Dynavolt Tower, but we'll probably pick up some more at some point. So yeah, I think I'll take the Inspector here. Okay, Incendiary Sabotage could be good in our deck. We would definitely need to pick up some more artifacts. A card that can help us splash is here too. Another card that helps us splash is Prophetic Prism. Again, we're going to have someone pretty happy with our Revoked Privileges. Long Tusk Cub likes energy. And we can produce some of that. Prophetic Prism helps us splash, and maybe we should just take that since we're kind of all over the place right now. Although we don't really have anything that's like amazing to be splashing, honestly, at this point. Like Revoke, maybe we could take that and try to splash it and be like black-green, but yeah. I'm kind of just leaning towards the Cub. I'm just, instead of the Prism. But the Prism does help us splash, so I think I'll take it. Era of Innovation helps us with energy if we have Artificers and Artifacts. Self-Assembler, again, wouldn't mind him too much, but I think we take Thriving Rats here. Yeah, it's looking more and more like we're probably, of course now we see a freaking Imperial Voyager. Malfunction's good, but it's looking more and more like we're probably not playing these two colors, and we're like blue-black, and we'll probably play the Dynavolt Tower, but it's not going to be like incredible for us or anything. But yeah, Imperial Voyager is really good. Malfunction is something we need. We don't have a ton of removal right now. Ether Theorist is also good. So is Thriving Rhino. So God, I mean, this does make me want to try really hard. We could splash it. We do have one Prophetic Prism. And we could splash it. We need to pick up a little more fixing maybe, but... And it's hard to splash if you're not running green, so... It's probably not worth it. It will probably just take this removal spell. I hope we don't have to play this. So do we want another select for inspection? Another attune with Aether? I don't think we want that, though. Yeah, we'll take another select. I mean, they do get worse in multiples, but man, are they good with a card like Dynavolt Tower. They just buy you more time to just build up energy and do stuff with it, and I like that. Tezzeret's Ambition isn't something I would mind either, but I'm going to take select for inspection here. Okay, we have another paradoxical outcome. It does get better when you have... we have one card within the battlefield. We do want more artifacts for our Gear Seeker, too, incidentally. Man, Chandra's Pyrohelix and Aether Torch Renegade are both so good. Like, what happens if we lose black out of this deck? I mean, we do lose one of our best removal spells. And Live Fast both work pretty well. We have another one of them here, but could just take Automaton. Renegade's probably the best card in this pack. Maybe Pyrohelix. Man. Yeah, we're going to take the Automaton. Our deck seems like it's on the slower side of things. Okay, High Tide Hermit seems like what we want for our deck. Gives us energy and so forth. So we have Tezzeret's Ambition and another Live Fast. Also Subtle Strike, which is worth looking at. Eager Construct, not bad either when we want more low-curve artifacts for our Gear Seeker primarily. I'm kind of leaning towards Tezzeret's Ambition, though. Nimble Innovator it is. Another Nimble Innovator, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's not a card I hate. It does make me wish I'd picked up the Paradoxical Outcome a little more. We'll take Failed Inspection. Disappearing Act I don't think we'll be playing. And we probably won't be playing these unless we run low on playables, which is possible. So our deck's still kind of a disaster, but I feel like we're kind of getting where we want to be. We do have 3, 4, 5. Right now we only have 5 instants and sorceries, but that's probably okay. We have other ways of making energy. The energy doesn't necessarily have to come from our Dynavolt Tower. So, Master Trinketeer. Man, we should have been white. We've seen so many cards that were good white cards. Yeah, we saw a late Glint Sleeve Artisan, and that probably should have convinced me to change at one point, but I was stubborn, wanting to stay with Dynavolt Tower in one form or another. So, Shrewd Negotiation's interesting. We do have Prophetic Prism and a Malphite Squad token, but I don't think that's quite enough. Do we just take another Gear Seeker here and just go all in on artifacts here? That might be the plan. Another Attune. Could have just splashed so well, but green really hasn't seemed to open other than seeing Attune with Aethers everywhere. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Gear Seeker Serpent here, and we're going to sort of morph into a more artifact-heavy deck. Ooh, that's a good card for our deck. What else we got here, though? Yeah, I think that's probably the pick, is our Glimmer of Genius. It's an instant, it gives us energy, draws us cards, it does a bunch of stuff we want. We probably lose one of these at this point. Yeah. But yeah, we do have reasons to want to be playing artifacts. So between our Foundry Inspector and our Gear Seeker Serpents, so we should start taking them a little more readily. So this gives us energy, but I don't love it. Inventor's Goggles, we probably don't have enough creatures for. We could just take an Eager Construct for another artifact, like I mentioned, and that might just be the pick. This is a very strong sideboard card, it's worth noting. We have sort of ended up fading out of black, so we could theoretically think about switching into a red, or a red deck seems possible still. So that's worth thinking about if we see some crazy red cards. Probably just Pillar Bug, actually, with the, we can give it lifelink, so it seems pretty good. Harsh Scrutiny is good, Insidious Will is good. Harsh Scrutiny, Windrake, and Insidious Will are what I'm looking at here. Those are basically the cards in my colors. I don't know. We have a lot of stuff to do in the later game. A cheap instant or sorcery seems good for our deck, and I found this to be better than it looks in general. So I think I'm going to take it over like Windrake or Insidious Will. Make Obsolete. That's a very strong sideboard card in like its worst case scenario. There's also a Drakara P-Foul though, and I might just take that because we have tons of instants and sorceries, but we also want to have tons of, not tons, but several artifacts in our deck, and P-Foul helps us with that. Aetherborn's nice, but because it can give us an artifact, but I like the P-Foul a little more. It can have evasion. Probably don't want a fourth select for inspection. Make obsolete also worth thinking about, as I mentioned, but I'm going to take the artifact here. Wow. Do we have enough ways to make energy to make electrostatic pummeler playable? I don't think we do. Do we think making energy is worth it for this deck? It really might be. It is also an artifact, which our deck cares about. Our other options in this pack are not good, so I think I will take the electrostatic pummeler here. Another harsh scrutiny. There's also a thriving rats, which we could use some more 2-drops. There's also a foundry screecher and a Drakara Peafowl. I think I'm going to go for the 2-drop. We don't have, we have a few ways to interact early, but I think we need another rat, and gaining energy isn't a bad thing. Okay, another pillar bug seems solid, and that's what I'll take here. So we definitely, picked up a card early, and we're like, man, we're going to try to make this work. And it will be playable in our deck, but it's definitely not going to be our main plan with our deck. Do we have enough medium artifacts that we want to take this yet? I still don't think we do. Do we just want a night market lookout? I don't think so. It's a pretty aggressive card, and that's definitely not what we are. Morbid Curiosity is interesting. It is not a bad sideboard card, so I think I will take it here. You can side it in against people with enchantment-based removal. Consulate Skygate's solid, especially in our deck that cares about artifacts and also wants to get to the later part of the game. So, Pummeler's kind of unlikely, so is the Automaton. We can cut those, I think. The Pummeler is fun and interesting to think about, but I just don't think we're going to be enough of an energy. If we had ways to pump him too, he would definitely get better, but we don't. So here we can take Eager Construct or a strong sideboard card. I think another low curve artifact just makes our Gear Seeker Serpent game plan a little stronger. Yeah. Scavenger it is. I don't think we'll be playing it. It does let me get artifacts, and that's nice, I suppose. But yeah, we sort of shifted into a artifact deck that also happens to care a little bit about energy. And I think we definitely got there in enough instants and sorceries to play Dynavolt Tower. It's just not our centerpiece the way I was hoping we could perhaps do. So we do have 2 cards to cut. And I'll have to wait till it'll let me organize, because we don't want to give up too many instants and sorceries, and we don't want to give up too many creatures either, because we don't have a really high threat density in this particular deck. Glimmer of Genius is just basically a way better live fast for only 1 more mana. High Tide Hermit may not be for this deck. It gives us energy and all, but yeah, I don't think we need it. So our Marauder does have some more synergy with the deck than I was really thinking about, because Thriving Rats get +1/+1 counters. We also have Malfist Squad. So we have 3 cards that will occasionally be able to put +1/+1 counters on the guy. So, what do we cut? Is it live fast? Let's sort by, group creatures separately. So, let's get the instants and sorceries over here. Actually, I don't really need to do that, do I? Everything but these 3 cards is an instant or sorcery. So that means we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that will trigger Dynavolt Tower, and I think that's plenty. We have a few other cards that'll give incidental energy as well. But I don't think we really want to cut any of them. They're all cards I feel fine about playing. Live Fast is the card I'm the least happy with, but it's fine. We have ways to gain the life back between our 2 Pillar Bugs and our Marauder too, so... is it just Nimble Innovator? Yeah, probably. That's probably what we lose. I know it's a creature, but it's not exactly a threatening one. And we have other ways to draw cards. All right, I think this is our deck. We took a weird turn there, but it ended up working out. We got plenty of artifacts to power out these guys early, help out Tidy Conclusions, and make our Foundry Inspector better. And we also have enough instants and sorceries to run Dynavolt Tower. Will our deck be sort of two-minded? Maybe, but we'll just have to see. We didn't end up with quite as much removal as you probably want in a deck that's running Dynavolt Tower, but we ended up with a decent amount. So let's sort by color. Okay. Yeah, I think 9-8 is reasonable. Though, yeah, I mean, I think it's still reasonable. We do have more black things that we actually want to play early, namely our Thriving Rats. But yeah, I think this will be fine. All right, well, we'll see how this goes. It's definitely an interesting deck, if nothing else. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.